Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Mo Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment coach. He comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And I hope that 2023 is starting off wonderful for you. It is for me, y'all. Let me just tell you, I part of my theme for 2023, it has joy in it. And that means I'm not doing anything that does not bring me joy. So I am definitely in my bag already for 2023. And so I wanted to talk to you because 2023 is shaping up to kind of start off a little bit rocky. We're seeing now where we have companies like Amazon and McDonald's that are getting ready to do massive layoffs and things of that nature. So I wanted to talk about, some of the things that you can do to kind of combat what's happening right now with everybody, looking at, okay, we're headed in, or some people say we're already in a recession, right? So what are some of the things that you can do? I need you to think about, is it time to shift? Is it time to shift from thinking from being in competition to collaboration? I'm going to tell you right now, I personally don't believe in, competing against anyone. For me personally, it has always been me competing against the old me, right? And it's just really the truth for me. Competing against that 322 a month welfare mother. I have always competed against me so I can take myself to the next level. That's how I compete. But I also realize there's healthy competitions out there amongst other people. But I want you to think, is it time for a shift? To think about collaboration over competition. And so let's dive into that a little bit. So let's talk about what collaboration is. So collaboration, as defined, is the action of working with someone to produce or create something. So I want you to think about that even from a business standpoint, right? So collaboration in business is the practice of working together towards a common goal. So what is an example of that? For me, I've recently wrote my new book, Finding Your Way. So I'm looking to collab with book clubs. I'm looking to collab with other authors. I'm also a speaker, and just a week it was like a week ago, I collab with other speakers for us to come together for a common purpose of talking about the one thing that you can do to make your 2023 year your best year. It's time for us to start thinking about who we can collab with. So let's talk about some of the benefits of collaboration, because I was reading a Stanford study. It was a study done, and it was published on Social Psychology Today, and it found that people who were in a collaborative mindset were 64% more likely to stick to a task than those working alone. And so when I thought about that, I was just like, well, wait a minute. If I'm 64% more likely to be successful, that's what that says to me, then why am I not thinking in a collaborative mindset? So when we think about some of the benefits, it can expand your skills and knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. When I did that collaborative effort with, three other speakers, it was four, including myself, I learned so many different things about strategy, as well as, it also, which is another benefit, improve my communication skills. I was able to say, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, which was great. And it also helped me to be able to effectively communicate my needs for the day with the other speakers. It also leads to another benefit, it leads to more innovative ideas. It helps you start to think outside of your box, right? And it also, we talked about, increases success. And it helps you form more efficient processes, right? So those are the five benefits. Number one, it expands your skills and knowledge. Number two, it improves your communication skills. Number three, it leads you to more innovative ideas. Number four, it increases your success level. And number five, it helps you become more efficient with process. So those are for some five benefits that I came up with that I believe are the top five benefits of collaboration. Because when you're out here operating on your own, you're operating within your own mind, within your own frame, you're within your own frame of reference. And here's the thing, you're operating within your known experience, your known environment. So collaboration helps you step outside the bounds. Okay? And it helped, and because it did it with me, it can help you open up some blind spots. Because when you think about competition, it doesn't encourage sharing. Right? If I'm competing against you, that means I'm not sharing my knowledge. But if I'm not sharing my knowledge, guess what? I'm not receiving knowledge because that person is less likely to share with me. So when you think about competitiveness, right? Think about how it can limit you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have healthy competition. That's another conversation. But this is for those I'm trying to get to think, is it time to shift? If all you think is compete, 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 is it time to make a shift? Right? And so you got to think about it. I know that people are it's hard when you've been hard coded for so long. So let's talk about how to collaborate effectively. Okay. So number one, you have to build safety and trust with the people. So for example, when I did that collaboration last week with the other speakers, I had built safety and trust. I had had enough conversations with Brent that I felt safe in that environment. Right. And I think that that's the biggest thing. When people don't feel any sort of safety or trust, they tend to not want to do things. So that's number one. I'm not saying that you can collab with everyone. That's not what I'm saying. Be able to start having conversations. I had conversations with someone who I love and adore, and I actually coach who has women's circles, right? So we talked about ways for me to collaborate with her. Why? I already trust her. She trusts me. She knows also the information that I'm going to come in and speak with is going to be valuable for her people. We're not just doing things to do things. Is it going to add value to the people that you're going to serve? Listen, when I think about collaboration, I think about, am I going to add value? Right? I don't just want to do things to do things. And I know we should think about also, are they going to add value to us? But the problem I think what happens with most people is you always going to get what you can take, never thinking about what you could go and give with the understanding if you go with the mindset of giving, you will always receive. If you set your intention, come on, y'all. If you set your intention to go and give at the highest level of yourself, I promise you, you will receive. I didn't go into that thinking about, what I'm going to get out of it and what they're going to give me. I went in with the intention to give the best of me. So when I went in with that intention, guess what I received? The best of them. All right. So number one, build safety and trust. So number two, implement a decision/conflict resolution skill with each other. So what I mean by that, right? You want to implement like how are we going to make decisions together, right? How are we going to, if we have a conflict or we don't agree, do we just agree to disagree? Who gets the deciding vote? How do we come to what it's going to be, what it's going to look like in the end? And again, I'm using me because I've always believed in collaboration, and this has worked for me. It really has. And it hasn't just worked for me. It's worked for the people that I know that have collabed. So I think about, for example, I will use my mentor, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, how when he collabed with his CJ and he collabed with Carl, listen, he's just recently, collabed with Anthony Anderson, I believe. I'm sorry, Anthony. I might mess up his Jeremy Anderson. I'm sorry. He collabed with Jeremy Anderson to take his speaking academy to the next level. Now it's next level 2.0. Collaboration over competition, because sometimes that collaboration can take you to the very next level of where it is you want to be. But you have to get some processes around it. How will we make decisions? Because that's how people fall apart. They don't have a process and or procedure of how we're going to resolve conflict. Okay? So so the next one is empower hot communication. Honest, open, and transparent communication. That's what HOT stands for, okay? And I did not make that up. I actually got it from somebody and I can't think of his name right now. You have to be able to be honest, open, and transparent with the person that you are collaborating. If you already know that you're going to shrink back and shrink away and not be honest and not voice yourself, then that is not the collaboration for you. I think about the Diamond Six, who I absolutely love, y'all. So the Diamond Six, I'm a part of that. And we collab so well. because we are able to be honest, open, and transparent with one another. It makes us a dynamic duo when we come together and allow each one of us to be our authentic selves in the environment that we serve in. We are the bomb.com because of that. We build safety and trust with each other. And when it comes to conflict resolution and decision making ideas, we trust each other. So therefore, when we have a disagreement, it's like, okay, well, this is how we're going to do that. Are you okay with that? Yes. And that, what does that mean? We've compromised. We compromise. It can't all, if you're a person who always needs to be right, then you need to be right by yourself. I said what I said. If you are a person who always needs to be right, then you need to be right by yourself. Okay? So, the number 4, set key milestones and goals. So what is it that you want to achieve and by what time? Okay. So when we were putting together the collaboration for speakers, we talked about having, a pre-meeting before we would go meet with the people. Why? So we can do a run through. We set milestones and goals of when that was supposed to happen so that when the time came, we were prepared, because proper preparation prevents poor performance. So that was the structure and the framework that we put together, right? That was our decision-making framework. All right. And then lastly, be accountable and open to feedback. We have to understand that feedback is just data. It's just data. It's not meant to harm or to tear down. It's just data. And what you do with that data is up to you. Now, if the data is something that's going to help you grow into the best version of yourself, then take it and dissect it and sit down and then guess what? Journal it out. And then here's the other thing. When you're getting feedback, I want you to always say, this is what I heard you saying. This is what I hear you are saying. Okay. Is this what you mean? Because you always want to be able to understand it. Don't just hear it, get defensive, and run away with it. No, ask questions. And it's okay, not from a defensive standpoint, right? I ask for feedback on my behavior because I want to personally develop all the time. Like I said, I'm in competition with who I used to be. I'm in competition with the 2022 me. I want to take myself to a new level in 2023. I wrote the book and I became an author in 2022 in a small press publisher. Guess what? I'm in competition with that this year. I want to be better and better and better. And I realize not everyone has that mindset, and that's okay. But this is what it is for me. Okay? But in order to do that, you have to be open to feedback. You have to be accountable. Can I count on you? We're collaborating together. That doesn't mean stick someone with all the responsibility. It means pulling your weight. But it also means understanding your weight. That's why you build safety and trust up front, to understand what it is that we're doing. What's the common goal, right? We talked about the benefits of that. So I want to just reiterate, okay, how to collaborate effectively. Number 1, build safety and trust. Number 2, implement a decision/conflict resolution framework, all right, and or system. Number 3, empower hot communication, honest, open, transparent. Number 4, set key milestones and goals. Last but certainly not least, and I believe is the most important, be accountable. Do what you said you were going to do. And if you can't, that's a part of hot, open, and transparent communication to say, hey, I can't achieve this, or I'm not able, or I'm not in the mindset, or I'm not in the frame. I can't do that, right? And be open to feedback, because that is the only way in which we can grow. If we only listen to our own counsel, if we only counsel ourselves, how then do we get better? How do we even know what it is that we don't know? So I'm telling you, in 5 years from now, let me help you. 5 years from now, you have a choice to be the same and or be different. How is that you can be different is by every single decision you start making from this day forward. And I'm telling you that in 2023, if you want to be successful in your personal development and or in your business, it is time to start thinking about collaboration. Especially, listen, and for speakers, we have to collab all the time. Whose stage do you want to be on? How can you collaborate to get on the stage? Right? You have to think about that. But I want you to say, who is it that I want to collab with? How can I bring value? Not what I can take, but how can I give and bring value to that person? I really want everyone who listens to me, who hears my Self Love Sunday, I really want you to live out your vision. And I pray that every word that I give you empowers you to not just create, but to live out your vision. But here's the thing. We have to think about how that can happen. What are some of the ways? And I'm telling you, collaboration is one of the ways that can help you in living out the vision that you desire for you, your friends, your family, so that you can have an abundant life of health, wealth, love. Okay? Enjoy, because I'm all about the joy. And with that being said, if you need help in any of those areas, www.moesass.com, mosass.com, if you want to book a consultation with me, because it takes self-assessment to understand more about yourself, and the flight assessment, of which I'm certified to give, which is also, it's similar to the DISC assessment for those of you who don't understand flight assessment. And I'm certified in that. So we can definitely have you take a flight assessment, and we can sit down and go through. We can look at your natural styles and how you adapt when you work in a room. Because here's the thing, you have to get into your authentic self in order for you to show up authentically, so that you can build that safety and trust when you're looking to collaborate with someone. Okay, as well as if you need a coach in your life. I'm gonna tell you right now, I believe everyone needs a coach in their life. You will always hear me say that if you need a therapist, get a therapist in your life. I think that that's called a winning system. I have what I call a winning system around me of therapists, coaches, right, mentors in my circle that I can call on, because every next level requires a new shedding of your old skin. Okay. And so you need help. You cannot do it alone. That's why you have to have a collaborative mindset. Okay? So if you have any sort of questions, want to reach out about any of the topics you would like for me to cover, info@mosass.com. I hope you have the most amazing Sunday, and we'll talk to you next week.